So good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live session, we will be discussing Indian Express newspaper. Sorry for the delay, there is raining and all, so there was some issue. So basically we will be starting with the practice question and then we will be moving to the next part, that is fact of the day, wherein we will be discussing one fact which has been taken from random and that can be helpful for your examination in some way or other. Other than that also having some kind of general knowledge is good. Then moving further, we will be going to the know our constitution section. We have actually discussed the president. Now we will be discussing vice president. There are nothing much to discuss because most of the time you will see that vice presidents, you can say elections etc. are done in a similar way. There is a difference of electoral college, and then we will be talking about important articles like Himachal Pradesh increases age of marriage for women. Okay, so specifically they have increased the age of marriage for women to 21 years. We will be talking about that article. We will be seeing what are the impact of such laws, because this is the subject of concurrent list. So we will be seeing the implementation or the enforcement of the law, how it will work. Okay, then the telegram case and freedom of speech. So recently you know that the owner of telegram has been you can say arrested in France. So we will be talking about that, and we will be seeing the concept of freedom of speech and what are the issues which are related to this particular case, what are the different perspective of different people with respect to this issue. Okay, then 10 years of PM Jan Dhan Yojana. So we will talk about that as well, because it is a landmark. There are you can say they have completed the 10 years of the scheme. So basically we will be looking at the performance of the scheme. Okay, if you see the front page here, so this particular article you can go through. I would want you to go through this article. So here you can see enough is enough, says president as she raises Kolkata women's safety. Okay, so please go through this article, because this is high time we understand that this issue is not random or something. This is something which is having a blot on our, you can say, reputation of a country. Other than that also it is a blot on the humanity actually. So you should go through this article anyway. Then we'll start with we'll also discuss this article, that is PM Jan Dhan has led over 53 crore bank accounts, women being empowered. Okay, so that is what Jan Dhan scheme, as I told you, we'll be discussing that. So we'll be talking about that. Now coming to the next part, that is your practice question. Which of the following article is related to the process of impeachment of president? Okay, so answer is article 61. Option B would be your right answer. As I told you, in our constitution, or when we talk about India, the process of removal of president, that is called impeachment. Okay, other than that we have Supreme Court's judges which are being removed by similar process, but that process is not impeachment, that is the impeachment like process. That's all you have to remember. Okay, moving further, we will be talking about the fact of the day. Okay, the Baha'i faith is one of the youngest of the world's major religion. It was founded by Baha'u'llah in Iran 1863. Okay, so basically they are talking about the 19th century. So this is as young as you can say you can find any prominent religion. When we are talking about this Baha'i faith, okay, so origin you can see that can be traced to Iran. Okay, that is a, you can say, Muslim dominated society over there, and there was this particular man Baha'u'llah, and it was said that he is the messenger of the God. Okay, and considering that that in Islam it is you can say it is a belief that Muhammad Sahib was the last prophet. So considering that, there were certain, you can say, issues which were there. Ultimately there was arrest of this person, all these things has happened, but he has started a new faith that talks about the unity of all the religion, that talks about, you can say, all the good features of the different religions. So okay, so that is Baha'i faith. Okay, Baha'i faith. You must have heard the name, that is Lotus Temple. Okay, in Delhi you have Lotus Temple. So all over India there are total 9 places of worships of, you can say, Baha'i faith. One of them is, you can say, Lotus Temple, and it is in Asia's only place of worship. Okay, so that is there in you can say India. So this is a nice place to visit. If you have time, you can go through that. Now moving further, we will be talking about the know our constitution. Now we have discussed the president, and now we will be talking about the other you can say articles in the part 5, that is the union government. We will be looking at it. Okay, Now the part 5 will be looking at the articles which are related to Vice President of India. So start with the article 63 that says that there shall be a Vice President. Okay, we have seen that there shall be a President. We have seen that article in the yesterday's discussion. Now coming to the article 63, that is there shall be a Vice President of India. That means that it is a mandatory provision. Okay. Second thing is article 64, the Vice President shall be ex officio chairman of the Council of States. You know that Rajya Sabha is presided by Vice President when he is not performing the duties as President. You know, in case of vacancy, when President is not there, then that is the time when Vice President will be acting as a President, okay, and he will be enjoying all the powers and emoluments with respect to the post of President only. At that point of time, he will be drawing the salary as President and not as the, you can say, ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha, that is Council of States. So that is an important factor with respect to the Vice President of India. Now moving further, you will be seeing article 65, which says that the Vice President to act as President or discharge his functions during casual vacancies in the office or during the absence of President. Okay, so I hope that is clear. During the absence and the vacancies, if there is, in that case, he will be discharging the duties of President, okay, as per our constitution. Then moving further, article 66. Now here you will be seeing the Vice President shall be elected by the members of electoral college consisting the members of both House of Parliament in accordance with the system of proportional representation. Yesterday when we were talking about the, you can say, President, the electoral college were members of Parliament plus MLA, okay. Now when we are talking about members of Parliament, they were the elected members of Parliament, okay, and not the nominated ones. Now here you will be seeing when we are talking about the Vice President, okay, so here electoral college is of your member of parliaments, okay, that's all. Now in that elected as well as nominated are included, okay. So I hope that is clear. Now moving to the last article for our discussion, that is article 67, that is Vice President shall hold office for the term of 5 years. This is the same term as, you know, that that was for the President, okay. So that is the term of office for Vice President, that is given in the article 67, okay. Vice President will be, you know, when we are talking about you can say duties, most of the time you will be seeing he will be presiding the Rajya Sabha session, and if at all President is absent or the post is vacant, in that case he will be there discharging duties as a President of India, okay. So I hope that is clear. These are the prominent things with respect to the Vice President which you should know. Now we can move further and start with our today's discussion with respect to the Himachal Bill. In Himachal Pradesh there was this bill which has been introduced, okay, and there is already a center law which is there, okay, but they have tried to amend certain things and then they have override certain you can say provisions of the center's law. So when we are talking about this bill, the name of the bill is the Prohibition of Child Marriage Himachal Pradesh Amendment Bill 2024, okay. Now this has amended a bill which has been passed by Parliament in 2006. And the name of the bill is the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act, okay. So you can see that the you can say focus over his child marriage. They are trying to make sure that there are less and less or decrease in the child marriage in the Himachal Pradesh. So what they have done is they have increased the age of women from 18 years to 21 years. If you see the 2006 Act, for in this particular Act, for marriage to be valid, the male or the, you can say, male candidate should be of 21 years, okay, male should be of 21 years and female should be of 18 years, okay. Now that is the provision which is given in the 2006 Act, and all over the country this is valid, okay. Now Himachal Pradesh has actually increased this 18 years to 21 years, okay, and they have overridden the act which is there in 2000, which is there made by Parliament in 2006, okay. Now we will be seeing that why did the Himachal Pradesh Assembly pass the bill. Obviously, considering the, you can say, position of women in the society, there are various concerns, and one of them is child marriage, because that is hindering the development of a female child, okay. When we are talking about a girl child, so you will be seeing that because of the early marriages, their, you can say, educational development is hindered, their physical development goes through different kind of phases. When we talk about early marriage, that means that early pregnancy, then they will be going for the early motherhood, that will have a, you know, some kind of impact on their health as well, okay. Now, considering the hinterland areas, there are not facilities are also you can say scarce. When we talk about Himachal Pradesh, you know that the geography is kind of harsh over there, and because of which there are lack of facilities, and ultimately woman becomes the victim of all these things. Okay, so considering all these things, considering the, you can say, social and the educational background, and considering that there is a lack of development in that areas, they have decided to come up with this. Okay, that is one thing. Second thing is to obviously to decrease the incidence of the child marriages. Okay, now let's see. It was necessary to raise the minimum age of the marriage for women to provide for the opportunities to them. Okay, that is, when we talk about opportunities, that can be economic as well as social as well as political opportunities. Okay, moving further, some girls still marry at young age, which hinders their education and ability to progress in life, unable to achieve success in their careers due to early marriage. Okay, so that is there. Moving further, the minister also highlighted that the early marriages and motherhood are often impacting their health of the woman. Okay, so these are the factors which we have discussed. The early marriages act, you can say they act as a hindrance not only to the progress of their, that is woman's career, but also their physical development. Okay, so these are certain reasons because of which they consider that the age of marriage should be increased. Okay, so that is there. Moving further, what amendments has the bill introduced in the PCM Act, the Prevention of Child Marriage Act of 2006, which is an act by the central government. Now, there is this sections which are defining the word that is child, child marriage. So they have actually gone for the change in the definition. Obviously, when you are making any kind of changes in the, you can say, act, so you have to make sure that any kind of definition which is generally given in the section 2 of the act, so in that they have to make the change. Okay, so they have gone for the change in the term that is child, which is given in the section 2 clause A of, you can say, Prevention of Child Marriage Act. Okay, so they have actually increased the age, so that is why they have actually gone for the change in the definition as well. So earlier it was given who, if male has not completed 21 years of age and if female has not completed the 18 years of age, will be considered child as per this particular act. Okay, so now they have changed their, you know that there is a distinction with respect to the, you can say, gender of that particular male and female over here. So that is why we can say that they have gone for the clear demarcation over there on the basis of the gender. Okay, now eliminate the distinction on the basis of age. Now this particular amendment, they have actually gone for the elimination of the distinction which is there in different you can say male and female with respect to the age, and now they have defined a child as a male or female who has not completed 21 year of the age. So here you can say for male and female both we have this age, that is 21 years. Okay, now coming to the second part, that is the definition of child marriage. Okay, so that is given in the section 2 subclause B, but the thing is here they have actually gone for the change, that is a marriage to which either of the contracted parties is a child. Okay, so that is what the, you can say, section earlier defined as child marriage. Okay, now they have actually gone for addition in that definition, that any kind of marriage which is either in which either of the contracting party is basically a child. Okay, and then they have gone for the extension that anything contrary to or inconsistent therewith contained in any other law. Now they have made sure that if there is any kind of provision which is somewhere else which is given with respect to the marriage of a child, let's say in the personal laws, etc., so they have make it clear that those provisions will not apply, this provision will supersede them. Okay, now the thing over here is that now this here you can see that particular para which they have added, that is saying that all other laws which are talking about you can say marriage or the age of the marriage, that won't be valid if they are in contrast to the this particular provision over here. So basically they have made sure that in Himachal Pradesh, okay, in Himachal Pradesh, the age of male and female to marry will be 21 years if this bill is passed. Now, what is the problem with respect to the implementation of the bill, which we will be seeing later. Okay, so that is there. Here you can say this means that the new marriage age for the woman will apply to everyone in Himachal Pradesh regardless of any other law which may be there in the state, or even if the religious or the cultural practices of an individual getting married allows the minors to get married. Okay, so that means that any other procedure through which they a minor can get married, that will be void. Okay, now section 18A. This gives the overriding effect to the entire central law and its provision. So they have added one provision which is saying that this particular law which is there in the state, this will have a overriding effect on the parliamentary law. Now you know that you must have read about the doctrine of repugnancy. Okay, so whenever you have a law in the concurrent list and you realize that that is law which is against the center's law, then their center's law will prevail. Okay, to the extent there is the repugnancy. Okay, repugnancy means that you can say there is a contrast between the state's law and the center's law. Okay, but there is one condition wherein if president is giving assent to such state's bill, in that case the state's law will prevail. Okay, so let's see, there is this state's law which there is a one provision which is against the center's law. So according to the doctrine of repugnancy, the center's law will prevail over here, and that particular provision which is against the center's law, that will be void. Okay, but you know that article 201 we have, wherein the governor can go for article 200 and 201, wherein governor can you can say consider, or you can say reserve a bill for the president's consideration. Okay, in that case if president is giving the assent to that particular bill, that means that the state's provision will be valid and it will override the center's provision. Okay, governor has different powers with respect to a bill. When a bill comes to him, so then he can go for giving the assent, or then he can send it back for the reconsideration. Third, what he can do is he can reserve it for the president's consideration. Now what president can do? President can actually give the assent, or president can withhold the assent, or it will send it for the reconsideration to the state's assembly. Okay, now whatever reconsideration the assembly does and send it back to the president, now power is with the president to decide on the bill. Now send it back to the president. President is not bound to consider the reconsideration which has been given by the state assembly. In the case of parliament, president is bound by that, but in this case president is not. And now if president is giving the assent, then that bill becomes an act, and then the provision will also be valid. Okay, and if president rejects or the withdraw the assent, then that bills end there. Okay, so that is there. Now coming to the next part, which is talking about the section 3, which is talking about the time period. Okay, now whenever there is a marriage which has been happened, or whenever there is a child marriage and that particular person has actually attained the 18 year of the age. Okay, 18 years of the age, that is age of majority. So at the age of majority, he realized that I have gone through a child marriage and now I don't want this marriage to continue. So he or she can go for the annulment of the marriage. Okay, that will not be considered a divorce. There is a difference between divorce and annulment. Okay, because child marriages are voidable marriages, so you can go for the annulment. So in that case, he or she can go for the annulment. That particular period for such step to taken was like 2 you can say years from the age of majority. So up to 2 years you can go and actually you can say get it annulled. Okay, but now what they have done is they have actually gone for it to increasing it to 5 years. Okay, so up to the age of 23 years you can go and actually go for the annulment of the marriage. Okay, so that is given in the section 3 of you can say this particular act. Okay, now how will the bill amendment to the CCM come into force? So as I told you that if president is giving the assent, because there are certain you can say criteria which are overriding the center's bill, and in such cases wherein there is any provision which is against the center's law or center's act, in that case governor has to refer such bill for the, or you can say reserve such bill for the consideration of president. And that is why in this case also this bill will go to president and president will decide on the matter. Okay, if president gives the assent, then well and good. If president does not give the assent, then this bill will end over here. Okay, so that is the thing which we have discussed about this particular you can say Himachal Pradesh bill. Now one more thing I would like to discuss over here is that you know that when we talk about Uttarakhand, we have actually come up with the UCC in the Uttarakhand. Okay, now UCC is also a subject of you can say concurrent list. So how Uttarakhand has gone for such things, and Uttarakhand has actually you can say gotten the president's assent, and ultimately that bill has become into a law. Okay, so you can say that is one example wherein the use of article 201 can be seen. Okay, So that is about your Himachal Pradesh age of marriage, which has been raised over here for female candidates. Okay, for male it is same, that is 21 years. For female it has been increased from 18 years to 21 years. Okay. Now we can move to the next article, which is talking about the Telegram case and the freedom of speech over here. Okay, so we will not go into very much details over here, because the thing is this, when we are talking about this particular issue that has happened in France. Okay, this particular founder of Telegram, he is a person from Russia. He is born in Russia. He has been there. He has co-founded a company over there. But in that particular company, there was various instances wherein he was pressurized by the government to ask for some sensitive data or encrypted data of the, you can say, citizens over there, and that is why he fled the country. He left the country and he came to you can say western side of the Europe, and wherein he has actually gone for the foundation creation of this app, that is Telegram, which we use in the normal course of action. But recently the France government has made some allegations saying that the person, or the, you can say, founder is not able to regulate the Telegram in a better way, because there are various acts like you can say the Telegram is being misused by terrorist elements, and there are money laundering related issues are also there, because there is, these are, this is a safe platform, this is having some kind of privacy provisions, and these provisions are actually was actually for the betterment of the citizens, but ultimately they are harming the interest of their country. These are the allegations which has been put by the, you can say, France government on the founder of the Telegram. Now the thing is, even the president of the France, they have said that they actually he has said that we actually embrace freedom of speech, but till it is not harming the national interest. Okay, so that is why he has been arrested, and there are western countries which are saying that when we are talking about this USA's whistleblower, that is saying that this is a kind of hypocrisy when we are talking about the freedom of speech and expression, when we talk about France over there. Other than that, Russia also criticized this kind of action which has happened. Anyways, coming to the point over here, authorities in France has arrested Pavel Duro. He is basically the co-founder and CEO of Telegram, and that is for the allegedly allowing a wide range of crimes due to the lack of moderator, or the lack of, and he has also there is this allegation that lack of cooperation with the police. Okay, so that is there. And the president over here has said that it is not a political decision here. While France remain committed to the freedom of speech and expression, these freedoms are upheld within a legal framework, both social media and the real life, to protect citizens and the respect for the fundamental rights. So basically he is saying that there are certain reasonable restrictions which are there. Okay. Now Telegram is saying that this was an absurd you can say decision which has been taken by absurd to hold a platform or its owner responsible for the abuse of that particular platform. You can say national governments and the internet companies, there is always a clash when we talk about this you can say big MNCs which are, or big data firms which are there, they are having some kind of clash with the government, because government also wants data. Okay, and the private companies also want data, and private companies are having it. Government is trying to get it from there. Government is trying to put some kind of you can say pressure over there to go for the you can say encrypted data, to share the encrypted data, but private companies are not doing that because of their, you can say, the trust you can say their customers are placing on them, because of which there is a clash. And why this data is an issue? Because data is something, when we are talking about the today's current global scenarios, data is something which has power. Now if you have data of a particular area, you have the ability to make sure that you will understand the behavior patterns of that particular area, or that particular people of that particular area. When we talk about the, you can say, let's say we will take a simple example. You are talking about your shoes, etc., and you have searched on Google that you want to buy a particular shoe. Okay, and after that you will be seeing that every kind of app which you are using, you will be seeing recommendations of shoes. Okay, now because the data know the particular search which you have placed over there, it knows that you are in that particular need of a shoe. So there are algorithms which are working in such a way that they are giving you more and more such options. Okay, so now data can actually impact your behavioral aspects. That is why government as well as the private companies, they want data. Data is considered as a new oil in this current global scenario. Why oil? Because earlier, that earlier the whole issue when we talk about the West and the Middle East, the whole issue with was you can say the oil reserves. Every country wanted to have a big hold on this particular area, but now that same oil has been the data, and that is why data is becoming an issue. Now coming to next thing, that is Durov's link to Russia. As I told you that he was born in Russia, then he has gone for the, you can say, creation of a company over there. He has co-founded a company over there, and then he left the country because of certain reasons. So that is there, and 2013 he has actually gone for the creation of Telegram. Okay. Now Telegram is a very, you can say, kind of a private kind of app, or you can say there is a lot is there with respect to the privacy. Now that privacy, because of that particular privacy, there are various agencies which might use that for their advantage, and these agencies can be terrorist activity, can be responsible for the terrorist activities, and that is why these are allegations which has been put. Now we don't know that if whether these allegations are true or not, okay, but the thing is that is there. Now issue over here is not that these activities are happening or not. Obviously if there is some kind of platform, they have been misused. When we talk about the internet, dark web, etc., there always has been the misuses. But when we are talking about this particular issue is whether the founder of that particular company can be held responsible, because he is not moderating, or he is not basically having a regulation over there. Okay. Now when we are talking about the Telegram has said that there are certain you can say banned organizations, so on that they are putting a constraint, but they are not putting a constraint on every organization which is going for the criticism of the government, because that is not a crime. Okay. So that is why this issue is being there. Okay. Now there is the high degree of privacy on the Telegram has allowed some users to use it for the illegal activity. We have processed legitimate request to take down the illegal public content. Okay, so they have said that we have this you can say provision that we will take down the illegal content within the app, but this does not apply to the local restrictions on the freedom of speech. Okay, if there is a government which is suppressing a freedom of a citizen in that particular country, that in that case they will not go for the, you can say, taking down that particular data. If criticizing the government is illegal in a country, Telegram won't be part of such politically motivated censorship. That is what has been said by the, you can say, Telegram in a frequently asked question, which is section which is available over there. Now geopolitics and regulations, if we talk about, so as I told you that there is data is the new oil, everyone is trying to control the data. Okay, when we are talking about Russia, Russian official has actually criticized this particular arrest. Okay, now there is this Edward Snowden, he is a whistleblower in you can say USA. He has also criticized this particular step. Okay, now government seeking to regulate illegal activities have earlier acted against the Meta, and like there are Facebook, WhatsApp, these are the companies. Other than that also X and other tech giants. So as I told you, there is a tussle which is going on between the tech giants and the, you can say, governments. In India, government has expressed deep concern over the problem of fake news and have taken up issues with the WhatsApp and X. When we talk about WhatsApp, WhatsApp has done little bit in that regard, because when we are talking about the misinformation and the fake news, what WhatsApp has done is that they have actually introduced a tag that is forward and forwarded many times. Okay. So if there is a such information which is forwarded many times, to believe, before believing that particular information, you have to check the reliability or the relevance of that particular information. Okay, so that is about, you can say, Telegram issue. That is about the you can say issues with respect to data and all. Okay, now we can move further to the next article, which is related to the task force. You know that in the Kolkata case, there was this guidance which has been given by the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court has actually called for creation of a task force which will look into the matters of the security of the healthcare workers. Okay, in that regard, there was this meeting, and we'll be looking at the outcomes, or you can say whatever has been discussed in that particular meeting. Superficially, if you can see over here, we have taken the liberty to put it into the points over here. Let's see. So there are certain several directives which has been issued. Installing CCTVs to the blind spots. Okay, so wherever you don't have the CCTV, you have to put CCTVs over there. Integration of 112 helpline number for health workers. Regulating access to any part of the hospital. Police verification of contracts and outsourced employees working in the government hospital. So basically what they are doing is, whoever is entering inside the hospital, that person should be having some kind of credentials. So here you can say regulating access to any part of the hospital. Okay, second thing is police verification of the, you can say, employees which are there on the contractual basis. Okay, so that is there. joint security audits, establishing a police chowki or the police station in the premises of big medical colleges and the district hospitals. Okay, so that is also a positive step. The gadget also talks about the increasing police patrolling and reading out complaint reports on the sexual harassment. These are certain guidelines which has been discussed by the task force over here. Okay, so that is one development which has happened, which I have shared with you. Okay, now moving further, we will be talking about the PM Jan Dhan, as 10 years has actually you can say happened to this particular scheme. We will be looking at the number as well as the positive impacts of the Jan Dhan. Before going into the article, I would like to tell you certain things about the Jan Dhan Yojana. So benefits of the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. Here you can say zero balance accounts with RuPay cards will be provided. Okay, so why zero balance account? Because there are many people who initially do not trust the banking system. Okay, when we are talking about the hinterland etc., most of the time you will be seeing the you can say the woman over there, they used to keep the money inside their trunks and not into bank. Okay, because they thought if bank will take the money and run away. So there were such concerns in the hinterland. There was these you can say mindset which was there, but with the Jan Dhan they have actually started the banking account, that is with the zero balance. Okay, you don't have to deposit any kind of money, but if government is giving you some kind of benefit, okay, that can be transferred to your this particular Jan Dhan account. Okay, so that was the idea behind it. That is there are two you can say objective. One was the financial inclusion. Okay, second was the you can say direct benefit transfers. Okay, so that was related to the Jan Dhan. Now that is why they have actually gone for the zero balance account with the RuPay cards. Okay, RuPay debit card, obviously since you do not you did not actually deposit any kind of money over there, but government if has sent some kind of direct benefit transfer, so you need something to get it out, so that is why RuPay cards were also provided in that. Okay, now second is universal access to the banking facilities. As I told you, that is basically for the financial inclusion. Okay, so that is there. Then third, here you can say life insurance cover of rupees 30,000 and accidental insurance cover of rupees 1 lakh. These are prominent features of the Jan Dhan accounts. Okay, and you can say these are certain incentives which were added so that people can go for the opening of these accounts. Okay, now here you can say Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana as more than just a policy, one that ensures each and every citizen, irrespective of one's economic background, has formal banking access. Okay, so that is you can say the access to the formal banking, or you can say the financial inclusion, so that you can actually be able to enjoy the various services which are provided by the government. Okay, today mark a decade since the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana was launched, so that is 10 years of the scheme, and that is why this scheme has been reviewed over here. You can see it was an endeavor to build an India where each and every citizen, irrespective of one's economic background, has access to the formal banking apparatuses. Okay, so this is you can say objective behind it. Now we'll be talking about the current situation. We'll see 2 or 3 points over here which you can mention in the examination if at all they are asking something related to the financial inclusion or the Jan Dhan Yojana. Okay, now the success of the Jan Dhan Yojana has 2 parts with respect to it. One is the you can say number. Okay, second is with respect to the impact. Okay, so we'll talk about both of them. First, you will see one is its number, that is today over 53 crore people who never imagined they would enter a banking has the bank accounts. Okay, because of the zero balance bank accounts, there are nearly 53 crore people who has got access to the you can say banking facilities. Now moving further, over 65 of the accounts are either in the rural or the semi-urban areas. Now this is a very progressive step if we talk about, because these were the people who were more reluctant to go for the banking services. Okay, so here you can see nearly 65% of these 53 crores are basically from the rural and the semi-rural areas. Okay, now financial inclusion outside the metros, that is what we have achieved, because in metro cities we know that there is this banking facility which has been used by metro population, but that is now helping the rural areas also using the banking facilities. Okay, so that is there. Moving further, second part if we talk about, that is beyond the numbers. Here you can say it proven to be the game changing as far as the women's empowerment. Okay, now how is that? most of these accounts are actually opened in the name of women, and then you will be seeing here there is a number that almost 30 crore women has bought into the banking system. Okay, so out of 53 crore accounts, 30 crores are in the name of women, and ultimately any kind of direct benefit transfer is being transferred to women in this particular account. That means that now they have their own money in their hand. Okay, so that is also there. So that is helping in the woman empowerment as well. So that is very progressive if we see. Now likewise, the benefits of the schemes and other benefits that comes thanks to the bank accounts have positively impacted the other section of the society, that is SC, ST and OBC families as well. Okay, so that is, you can say that empowerment of the vulnerable sections as well as the, you can say, empowerment of backward classes and women. Okay. Now moving further, had it not been for the Jan Dhan Yojana, the Mudra Yojana or the social security schemes of the government, namely Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana, Atal Pension would never have the, you can say, such impacts. Okay, why? Because all these yojanas are basically related to the, you can say, somehow bank accounts are needed. Okay, and that is why you can say that that is a progressive step, and you can say Jan Dhan has made it, you can say, even impactful. Now Jam Trinity Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile. This Jam Trinity is, you can say, this is about the digital India, as well as you will seeing there is this financial inclusion. Other than that, if we see, there is this social welfare schemes, or can say, or the you can say direct benefit transfer, etc., which are being using this Jam Trinity. Okay, so that is Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile, to eliminate the you can say middlemen which used to be there. Okay, so whenever there is any kind of benefit which is there, that is directly transferred into the accounts of the beneficiary, so there is no middleman. So ultimately that particular losses which was there, that has been resolved. Okay, so that is about Jan Dhan Yojana and impact of Jan Dhan, how it is actually impacting the other schemes as well, how it is helping in the women's empowerment, empowerment of the, you can, backward classes, SC, ST community, etc. So we have actually looked at it. Now moving further, Supreme Court underlines bail is the rule, jail is the exception in the PMLA cases as well. Okay, Article 24 higher right. Okay. So when we are talking about the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which we have actually discussed, section 45 of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which is talking about the bail, it is said that person should not be granted a bail until unless the judge is satisfied that the prima facie case is not there. So that was the thing over there. It was interpreted that the jail, you can say that court should not grant the bail. Okay, so because since it is given in the negative language, so there was this particular interpretation, but Supreme Court underlines that the bail is the rule and jail is the exception. So if there is no concrete evidence, in that case a person under PMLA also will get the bail. Okay, so that is there, which is given over here. You can go through this particular highlighted part which is talking about the section 45 in the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which is talking about the bail provisions. Okay, so that is there. Since I have explained that in the previous discussions, so I will not be going into details of it. Okay. Now moving further, next is with respect to the humanoid skull, which is going into the space with Gaganyaan. Before Gaganyaan is a crewed mission of the Gaganyaan is going, or you can say a manned mission. When we talk about Gaganyaan, you know that it is a manned mission of India and it is scheduled in 2025. Okay, but before that is going, we will be going for a uncrewed mission, and in that particular uncrewed mission we will be sending a humanoid. Humanoid is nothing but you can say kind of a robot which is having features like human. Here you can see Indian Space Research Organization uncrewed Gaganyaan mission in 2025 will carry female half humanoid Vyomitra, literally space friend. Okay, so basically when we are talking about the name of this humanoid, that is Vyomitra. Okay, Vyom, that means space, and Mitra means friend, so you can say space friend. Okay, now they have actually created it in the Vikram Sarabhai space center in Thiruvananthapuram. Okay, so what are the humanoids? Here you can see humanoids or the half humanoids are the robotic system designed to resemble humans. Okay, so they will be having a resemblance with the human, but they are these robots. Okay, so basically Vyomitra comes with a movable arm, torso, face and a neck, and function autonomously in the space. Now that will be sent, we will be sending it to space. We will be making sure that all the, you can say, parameters, or you can say all the operations which are needed to be done in the space can be done you can say smoothly over there. So that is why this particular Vyomitra will go over there, and that will be an kind of an experiment before we send a manned mission over there. So he will be, you know, going for the task like some kind of maintenance, some kind of if there is any kind of you can say malfunctioning which is there on the, or you can say cleaning the solar panels, etc. For such activities, when we talk about humanoids or the, you can say, robots in the space, these are basically used for the critical you can say works which are there to be done outside the space module. Okay, so since outside there is some kind of risk, so it is avoided that astronauts should not go outside. So generally these humanoids will be going outside and doing any kind of exploration which is needed to be done. Otherwise also the cleaning related or the maintenance related works which are somehow risky, they will be performed by these humanoids. Okay, so that is why it is known, or you can say the named as Vyomitra. Okay. So that is that. Why will ISRO sends a humanoid space into space next year? As I told you, before we go for the manned flight, we are sending this unmanned you can say flight having this particular robot or humanoids, which will be an you can say experiment wherein we will be trying to see that everything is all right over there. Okay, and so we can send our mission. Okay, so that is there. How did ISRO design the humanoid skull Vyomitra? So basically there is this aluminum alloy which they have used, that is ALSI10Mg. You don't have to remember the name. Okay, just know that it is an aluminum alloy. Okay, this is known for the high flexibility, lightweight, high heat resistance and mechanical properties. Okay, and it is also used in the, you can say, manufacturing of the space modules, etc. So they have actually created it with that. Now this particular alloy can be used in the additive form. So basically they have gone for the 3D printing of this particular robot. Okay, so here you can see additive manufacturing technique, that is basically a 3D printing wherein you can say a particular object will be created by, you know, formation of layer over layer. Okay, so let's say if there is this particular ball which has to be created, so it will start from the below and then it will start to create on the fill like this, and ultimately it will have a fill like this. Okay, because the data or the, you can say, design has been fed to the machine, accordingly they will actually create this particular ball. Okay, so that is about the humanoid skull which we are sending to Gaganyaan in 2025 through a uncrewed mission. Okay, so that is about it. Now we'll move to the next part. This is basically talking about Russia warns West playing with fire. World War III won't be confined to Europe. So basically recently there was this issue which is going on, Russia Ukraine, and there was this visit by our Prime Minister to Ukraine, and then there are certain you can say ammunitions which has been sold by USA to Ukraine, and considering that, it was said that whatever USA is doing in Ukraine, or how USA is supporting in Ukraine, if that accelerate to a war, or you can say if that starts a world war, that will not confine in the Europe, that will have an impact outside Europe as well. So directly it was you know, aiming at the USA. So that was something which has been talked by Russia. So you can go through this article, there is nothing much written over there. So but the thing is, they have mentioned the word World War III, that is quite, you can say, extreme to talk about, but again since they have done it, they have actually talked about it, so we have taken it. Now Iran's Khamenei opens door for the talks with USA over the nukes. Okay, you know that earlier there was this deal, okay, nuclear deal was there between USA and Iran, and then there was this, ultimately you can say that there is the permanent 5 and Iran which was there in that particular you can say deal. That deal actually could not work after some time. Okay, I guess in 2015 or somewhere around that, there was this deal which actually became dead, and after that Iran has actually gone for the enrichment of the uranium over there, and he has actually gone for the enrichment to the weapon grade as well, that is 90% enrichment. Okay, so because of which this deal was you can say a dead asset, and after that there was this issue which started between Iran and USA. Now there is new president which has came into the power over there, and in his campaign he has maintained that he will be going for the re-engagement with the Western countries. Okay, now in that regard, the supreme leader of Iran has actually said similar statement, that if it is in favor of our you can say citizens, then they will also go for the re-engagement. Okay, so here you can see Iran's supreme leader opened the door to Tuesday to a renewed negotiation with the United States over country's rapidly advancing nuclear program, telling its civilian government there was no harm in engaging with its enemies. Okay. Now you must be thinking that why to engage with the enemy. When we are talking about today's world, that is complex word, there is this term which I have read somewhere, that is frenemies. Okay, frenemies means that in certain cases these are friends, in certain cases these are enemies. Okay, so when we talk about certain aspects, okay, let's say if we talk about trade, India and China is having a good trade, okay, because India is dependent on that. So we are having trade, we are not going for any kind of economic sanctions, etc. So in that regard we are actually still going for the trade. Okay, now enemies on the border issues, but we are not doing anything about that as well. Okay, so this is the term frenemies. This has been used by our external affairs minister in his book. Okay, the India Way, I guess the book's name is the India Way. So basically therein they have actually mentioned this term. So similarly here you can see that they are engaging with the enemies on the nuclear, you can say when we are talking about the nuclear aspect, they are trying to engage with. So you can say this term is actually having a good example over here. Okay, so that is there. If Iran wants to demonstrate seriousness or a new approach, they should stop nuclear acceleration and start meaningfully cooperating with the International Atomic Energy Agency. Okay, so that is the agency which is overseeing the nuclear enrichment in the Iran. Okay, because of that particular deal, and after that deal was broke, okay, they actually did not have any access to that particular, you can say, facilities in Iran. Okay, so that is about Iran and the new government over here under the new president. Okay. For your own read, there is this article, that is 10 years of Jan Dhan, which we have already discussed, but there are certain aspects which has been covered over here. So you can go through the features of the scheme because they are also covering the static part. Okay, so you can go through that. Second is impact of the scheme, which can be seen. Progress is not very important because they are talking about the data over here, that is not much important for us, just impact and the features. Moving further, next article which is related to the orcas. These orcas are there in the Atlantic or the Strait of Gibraltar area, and they are making kind of chaos because they are turning the yachts over there, they are attacking the yachts over there. And recently there is this study wherein they are saying that they are trying to actually practice a new hunting technique. Okay, earlier it was said that they are actually playing games with the yachts. Okay, because orcas have this you can say behavior wherein if they see something new, they try to do it until they get bored out of it. Okay, so that is something very interesting. If you want to read it, you can read, otherwise just remember that this is a species which is found in the areas of Atlantic and the Strait of Gibraltar, and that is why this was in news, because they are actually overturning the yachts over there, they are attacking the yachts over there. Okay, now in the end there is a practice question: what is the name of the humanoid which will be part of the Gaganyaan mission? Vyomitra, Agni, Bhumi or Valmiki? Okay, so you can attempt this question and answer me in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave. I'll see you in the next session. Till then, have a good day. Thank you, and if you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe it. Have a nice day.